Like many others, are you eagerly awaiting Tesla's Q3 earnings report? A number of analysts had previously voiced their anticipation for strong Q3 earnings. Check to see if they were correct in that aspect. Following a number of highly dramatic years marked by the global pandemic, problems with the supply chain, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, and now the recession, analysts predict that Tesla will outperform its previous quarters. The Tesla investor relations team disclosed the company's third quarter 2022 production and delivery figures a few days ago. We produced over 365,000 vehicles and delivered over 343,000 vehicles in the third quarter. The news release said, due to regional batch production of cars, our delivery quantities have historically skewed toward the end of each quarter. It is getting harder and harder to get vehicle transportation capacity during these weeks of peak logistics at a fair price as our production volumes keep rising. We started shifting in Q3 to a weekly regional mix of vehicle builds that was more equal, which resulted in more automobiles in transit at the conclusion of each quarter. Customers will receive these cars when they arrive at their location. They have already been ordered. Head of Tesla's investor relations, Martin Vita, blamed the company's huge end-of-quarter delivery pushes for the third quarter's delivery target failure. In a tweet, Vita stated, "Delivery peaks are becoming more and more challenging, so we began transitioning to a more even regional mix in Q3. In essence, Tesla shipped 343,830 cars from its 4 active gigafactories in Q3 2022, out of a total of 365,923 cars produced, with 305,407 cars made and 310,048 delivered in Q1 2022. The previous record was held by Tesla, making this another record. As many of you may already be aware, COVID-related Gigafactory Shanghai shutdowns resulted in a sharp decline in Tesla's output and delivery volume in Q22-42. Production of the Model 3 and Model Y, as well as final deliveries in China and Europe, were impacted by this circumstance. However, there is good news for Tesla investors. Compared to Q2 2022, the output of the Model S and Model X has surged by 21.4%. The Fremont factory is the sole location in the United States where the Tesla Model S and X are made. Deliveries of the Model S and X have currently increased by 15.5% from quarter to quarter. This shows that with every quarter that goes by, there may be an increased demand for the new luxury automobiles in the Model S and Model X segments. Experts estimate that Q3 2022 will likely be one of the few periods in which Tesla produces more cars than it delivers. Typically, they clear the backlog of orders from the prior quarter. The remaining 21,993 automobiles from this quarter will now be delivered in Q4 2022. These vehicles are still on the road since it is difficult to get them to consumers because the factories are located in different areas. The US ships Model S and X to China, and China ships Model 3 and Y, and Gigafactory Berlin meets part of the European demand for the Model Y. Significantly, deliveries increased by over 38% in Q3 2022 compared to Q2 2022. While production of the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y increased by an astounding 42.8%, Tesla has increased overall production and deliveries by approximately 20% and 11%, respectively, even when compared to Q1 2022 statistics. More than that, during the previous 4 quarters, Tesla significantly increased both production and delivery. When comparing Q3 2022 to Q3 2021, Tesla's vehicle manufacturing increased by over 54%, and its deliveries increased by over 42%. But shortly after Tesla released a press release, investors reacted negatively, sending the company's shares plunging more than 5%. The EV company's third quarter unit volume numbers caused a negative reaction among investors, and there were a few grounds for their concerns. Experts claim that investors appear to overlook other encouraging data that may have made them more optimistic about Tesla's future because they are fixated on a single statistic. Tesla stated in the news release that it had delivered over 343,800 vehicles in the third quarter, a significant increase over the approximately 254,700 Tesla vehicles that customers had gotten in the second quarter. Furthermore, it was significantly more than the 310,000 electric vehicles that Tesla supplied to its clients in the first quarter of 2022. But some who followed Tesla's business operations weren't satisfied with the record results. The majority of experts that covered the EV stock had predicted that the average would be just over 360,000, with the number falling between 350,000 and 370,000. As usual, as soon as pre-market trading started, the lower number encouraged quick selling. Experts advise that investors in Tesla should pay particular attention to the production statistic, which has increased to around 366,000. Production and delivery numbers have historically been fairly consistent, with production sometimes surpassing deliveries and deliveries sometimes falling short of production. However, since there is a 22,000 vehicle gap, timing is the main concern for Tesla, and it is much simpler to fix than the production delays that competitor manufacturers are experiencing. In fact, the issue ought to resolve itself during the first few weeks of the upcoming quarter, which would enable Tesla to fulfill its goal of producing 500,000 electric vehicles by the end of 2022. While not insignificant, logistics issues are also temporary. Indeed, they will eventually abate, and at that point, stockholders of Tesla that made their purchase decisions based on fictitious low delivery numbers will come to understand their error. Experts have often stated that production, not demand, is the real issue facing Tesla. Many people should have been relieved at this point since, despite supply chain problems, production is finally increasing. According to sources, Tesla continued its rising trend from July to August, selling 47,629 cars, or around 11% more than in July. Additionally, the business grew its market share in the US this year from 2.1% in 2021 to 4.1%. In August, Tesla became the fourth best-selling car in Australia, surpassing the well-liked Toyota Camry in sales. Tesla sold 77,000 Model 3 and Model Y units in August, despite the fact that the business is producing and selling cars in China faster than ever. For Tesla investors, these figures are really positive news. Nevertheless, in early September, a Wolf Research analyst raised the target price for Tesla's shares from $317 to $360 and gave the company an outperform rating. According to the company, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act will accelerate the adoption of EVs in the United States. Additionally, the law will encourage buyers of EVs to claim tax benefits. They think now is an excellent time to invest in the company because the stock has dropped following the IRA announcement. However, Goldman Sachs analysts feel that Tesla still has room for growth. They have maintained their buy recommendation with a $333.33 per share target price. They think Tesla is well positioned to profit from the long-term shift to EVs because of its leadership position in EVs and its emphasis on clean mobility in general. In the intermediate term, they anticipate Tesla to increase margins as it increases production of the crucial Model Y product and the new Austin and Berlin plants. Analysts believe that now is an excellent moment to invest in Tesla, particularly in light of the company's discounted price and the fact that more analysts have raised their targets for the stock since the split. Thanks to optimistic analyst calls and a few new perks for electric vehicle purchasers from the newly passed Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Tesla's stock is increasing. The goal of the bill is to implement measures that will help Americans who are having a hard time keeping up with escalating costs. By reducing the cost of prescription drugs, reducing the deficit, and supporting clean energy while investing in local energy production, it seeks to reduce inflation. Additionally, customers can obtain credit for EVs placed in service through the end of 2032 through the IRA. Our net income and cash flow results will be announced along with the rest of our financial performance when we announce Q3 earnings, Tesla stated through its investor relations department. Deliveries of Tesla vehicles are merely one indicator of the company's financial performance. Quarterly financial results are dependent on a number of variables, such as the mix of directly leased vehicles, foreign exchange fluctuations, and the cost of sales. As such, they should not be interpreted as a reliable predictor of the company's financial performance. The Tesla Investor Relations Department stated that the business will release its financial results for the third quarter of 2022 on Wednesday, October 19th, 2022, following market close. This information pertains to a full earnings report for the third quarter of 2022. At that point, a link to the Q3 2022 update will be available on Tesla's Investor Relations website through a brief advisory that the company will send out. The news announcement states that Tesla management will address the company's financial and business performance and prospects during a live webcast that day at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, 5:30 Eastern Time. It was also said that an archived webcast will be accessible on the business website for about 2 hours following the QA session. Subscribe to this channel so you may stay informed about the impending Q3 financial results.